It's not the D.W. Griffith film. It's not a remake
That's
of
good
The
to
Birth
know.
of a Nation. It's actually the 2016 remix of Birth of a Nation by Nate Parker, who is an extraordinarily talented gentleman who has written and directed and who also stars in this as Nat Turner. Nat Turner led a slave revolt in 1831 in Southampton, Virginia.
I am in awe of the incredible young Nate Parker, and what he's doing in this film I think is groundbreaking with regard to the genre of enslavement, the amount of humanity he gives to this story, and the more he reminds us that these are men and women and mothers and fathers and children who are loved, the more we get an insight into this history that I think we've seen only superficially in a lot of movies that deal with enslavement.
Nate had his heart set on making something that was going to be factual, but also was going to be impactful. And I think he did that. I think he set out to do it, and you guys will see when you see the film, it's going to be very, very powerful. And I think it's prevalent to nowadays with the stories that are going on and things that we're hearing. I think people need to see that, you know, racism is something that's very, very powerful and very, very dangerous, but at the end of the day, when people stand up and for what they believe in, a lot of change can happen, a lot of positive things can happen.
I certainly was incredibly moved. I think it's a powerful film. I think it's a story to be told. It's history, and it's a beautiful film. So I'm really proud to be in it, and I'm excited for everybody to see it.
It was an extraordinary experience working on what had been a rice plantation outside of Savannah, Georgia. The house in which I worked was built actually in 1838, and there were a lot of ghosts, a lot of spirits, I think, that were guiding us through this project.
You know, Savannah and some of those areas out there in the woods probably hasn't changed much in 200 years, so it's really easy to kind of just buckle down in there and look at your surroundings and be a part of Nate's painting that he was putting on the screen.
It's very, very sort of heavy material, so my first day on set is probably one of the hardest days I've ever done on a film. So, but then again, it was also the most rewarding. So it was great, the whole thing from start to finish.
Just to work with Nate Parker, and he was just everything and more than I could have ever dreamed of. As an actor, his performance is brilliant, his direction, his vision, and he was such a gracious person.
I just know that it's going to send Nate Parker's star into the universe in an amazingly bright way, but it also is going to further educate us about this history and help us understand exactly how this nation is built upon, that time and those people.
This was a story I didn't know about, so I'm glad that hopefully more people are going to be learning about, and that hopefully we'll keep making steps in the future to be aware of our past so that we never make those kinds of mistakes again.
This story is one of those that hasn't been told yet, for whatever reason, but it's the right time. So it's meant a lot to be able to be a part of what I hope is history, and I hope in 100 years' time, The Birth of a Nation 2016 is the film that's being spoken about.